Paras in the Philippines. Who are paras in the Philippines? What are they? Well, let's start. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about exactly who we are. My name is John Murphy. I am an Irishman, but by a fluke of luck with the Irish law when I was born, it meant that unmarried mothers were not allowed to actually turn around and be born in Ireland. So they had, the children weren't allowed to be born. So they actually turned around and made sure that the parents had to run off to the UK. So despite being born in Ireland, consummated in Ireland and brought up in Ireland, I was born in England. So I have two passports. As a result of that, I have dual nationality, Irish and English. One of the things that I actually worked on, and one of the things that I actually did from a very young age, was as soon as I was born, I was sent back to Ireland. So I grew up on a mountain. I grew up on a mountain in Clonakilty, and I had a great time as a childhood. I used to climb mountains, do things and work with things and make things happen. What happened in my life was a change. At the age of 11, I was brought over to the UK, brought to London, to Blackheath. Blackheath it was at the time. And I was actually turning round and thinking, what is this? What is this metropolis? You know, it was a case that I'd never seen it. 1977 this was, I'd never seen it. I'd never seen anything that had worked like this before. And I went to live with my mum and my stepdad in a pub in Blackheath and went to a very good Irish school, St Joseph's Academy in Blackheath, and they turned around and they said, well, you've come from Ireland. And I said, yes, I've come from Ireland. Well, you'll never get anywhere with that accent, they said. You'll never get anywhere with that accent. And I turned around and I said, well, it's my accent, it's where I come from. I come from a mountain, I'm a province boy, I come from the province, I'm not rich city. No, you've got to go for elocution lessons. So I went for elocution lessons. And they were going, how to say this and how to say that and how to say that. And I go, how to say this and how to say that and what you say there now. And it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So I actually turned around and spent a long time, long time, developing an accent that was not either English or not Irish or not American or not Australian, but a lot of people think that I am Australian. A lot of people think I'm Australian, and I'm not too sure why. I've never been to Australia in my life. Been to many other countries, but never Australia. Never Australia. So anyways, there we go. So I'm brought up in a mountain in Ireland. At the age of 11, I go off to England, and the first thing I see is big city, big city. Now, my grandfather was Chief Superintendent of the Garda Síochána, which is the Irish police force. He was the top man of the Garda Síochána. He was a very strict man, and me and him used to have breakfast every morning. And he'd sit there and he'd tell me stories. He'd sit there and tell me when I did this and when I did that. And he'd sit there and talk, and then look at his watch and then give me a clip round the ear and say, you're late for the bus. Get on. But that man brought me my lunch every single day up to the school. Drove up in his old Zephyr. I'd sit in the back of the car and I'd eat and I'd have soup and I'd have a hot meal and everything, every day, religious. I mean, I had great grandparents, I had a great life starting out, you know, and so to be wrenched from that and then to suddenly end up in London was a major problem for me. I suddenly go from being able to go out on the mountain, chop a tree down, build a raft, run it down the River Shannon, to suddenly I've got to get a bus to go anywhere. I didn't have a bus. I used to pay my school bus driver in apples. We had an orchard. So the school bus driver would say, I'll drop you home if you pay me in a bag of apples. We used to pay him in a bag of apples every day. That's how I paid. That's how I grew up. So coming to London was a big, what is this? What is this? I don't know. So it was a big thing. I mean, it's like the very first present that I got bought. I arrived on the plane and my mum took me to Hamleys and she bought me a cricket bat. Now, I'd use a Hurley all my life. I'd use a Hurley. I was used to fucking breaking heads and fucking playing hurling, which is an Irish game if you don't know what it is. But I'd had a Hurley in my hand all the time. And suddenly I get this cricket bat, and I'm like, how am I going to club someone around the fucking head with this fucking yoke? You know, that was my thoughts, you know? And it was a case, so I got this cricket bat, and actually developed into something that I loved, because my stepfather used to take me out along with all of the, because I said we grew up in a pub, my stepfather used to take me out into all of the heath directly opposite the Blackheath Tavern, which is where I grew up. And we would turn round and we'd play cricket every single day. And every morning before school, I'd be out and he'd bring all the bar staff out and we'd all play cricket, and bang, we'd play. And there used to get £10 at those days, we're talking 1977, you get £10 if you could actually hit a cricket ball for a six and smash a bus window, because there were buses. It was a triangle where we lived. It was a triangle, and there was the hotel, or the Blackheath Hotel. So that's where we actually, that's where I grew up. I went to a very good Catholic school, St. Joseph's Academy, which is in Blackheath. I was able to walk to it every day. It was no problem at all. And every day as I walked down, I used to pass the Army and the Navy recruitment office. So from the age of 11 or 12, I was always passing the Army and Navy. They were one building, but they were separated by two. Army, Navy and Air Force. And I turned round and I used to walk past that every day, and opposite was a Trafalgar Hotel, and that was another good Irish pub that was locally, and it was a case that we used to actually turn around and do that. So I went to school. I did my schooling. I worked hard. I did what I did to do, got my good grades, got everything, got exceptionally good grades. And at about the age of 15, now, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let's go back. At the age of 12, I joined the Army Cadets, 144 Para Cadets at Mitcham Barracks, which is down in Croydon. And by which point, my parents had moved from Blackheath to Purley, which was the Railway Hotel in Purley. And so they were running that pub. And so my local one was Croydon, if any of you know that local area. So I went off and joined the 144 Para Cadets. And it was boring, very boring. Now, if you bear in mind, at the age of 11, I was 6'2". I was also had won nearly 400 medals for athletics. I'd played rugby. I ran for my country, which was Ireland, which is my nominated country, and had turned around and done an awful lot of stuff. So when I joined the Para Cadets, I was surrounded by a load of kids. You know, if you bear in mind that my parents were running pubs, so they didn't have much time for me at the time. So I'd get home from school, I'd go upstairs, and I wouldn't see my mum until she woke me up the next morning. You know, it's just things like that. Every now and again, me and mum would sit down and watch a movie together, but when I got home at 3 o'clock every afternoon, she was exhausted. She was sleeping on a chair. So there we go. That's what we're talking about on that side. So when I joined the parachute cadets, I was like, okay, right, this is very boring, but I did like the drill. And I did it for 3 years. So at the age of 14, we had the Royal Kent Sharpshooters over to the left of us in the same barracks at Mitcham Barracks. And I joined the Royal Kent Sharpshooters as an assault pioneer, which was one of the things. And obviously you can't join the TA until you're 16. So I bullshitted my way in and got myself into the TA. And at 14, I was in the TA and I was doing my shit. I was doing exactly what I needed to do. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was what I wanted to do from the very beginning. It was absolutely tinker, bang, do this, engineering, bang, dang, that. So in the meantime, I was walking up and down, as I was still going to school at the time, until 16, I was walking up and down the road and I was turning around and passing this recruitment office. So I walked into, this was 1982 it was, I walked into the recruitment office and I said, I want to join the parachute regiment. And the Master Sergeant turned around and he went, well, you've got to take tests first, son. I went, okay, I'll take the tests. So I went and sat the tests, and in those days, you had to do psychometric tests. And so one, okay, you're good cannon fodder. You can be a good, we'll let you go off to war and get shot. No problem about you. Two, oh, you might have potential. So we might actually turn around and make you as a driver. All right. Three, okay, we might make you a mechanic, or make you a mechanic or something good like that. Okay. Four, oh, now we've got potential here. Now we've got potential. Now we can actually turn around and make something of this boy. Five, oh, this boy is good. This boy is good. We need to keep him. Six, okay, we've got a little shooting star here. We need to keep him. This is a major bloody thing. Seven, let's train this guy as a doctor. Let's train him anything he wants to do. Boom. Eight, test number 8. Bang, done. 20 minutes, out the door. Boom, gone. So I go back in, I say, look, I've done my tests and everything else like that. Can I join the parachute regiment? No. What do you mean no? No. Why? You've got to come back for a colonel's interview next week. I went, all right, okay, I've got to come back for a colonel's interview. There we go. Now I've got to come back for a colonel's bloody interview. What the fuck is this? What is this, Schwader? I have to go back for a colonel's interview. All right, okay, I'll go back for a colonel's interview. So off I go. And I'm still doing my cadet stuff and everything else like that. And I'm telling the boys, cadets and everything like that. And a few of the boys said, oh, you signed up? I said, well, no, I've tried to sign up. They, okay, we want to sign up too. I said, well, it's Blackheath Recruitment Offices. Come up and I'll meet you and I'll introduce you. So 6 or 7 boys came up with me and they actually introduced me into, I introduced them, sorry, into the Master Sergeant. He turns around and he goes, you're a one-man fucking recruiting son, aren't you? Oh, no, look. I said, they want to join, it's up to them. Now, you bear in mind, 82 was the Falklands War. That's the reason why there was a lot of gung-ho shit going on at that time. So anyway, the next week comes along and I actually have to go to a colonel's interview. So I go to the colonel's interview and he goes, right, you've got 8 score sheets here. And we don't want you to go in as a junior soldier, we want you to go in as a master leader, which is a military for lieutenant and above. He said, we already see that you've got 2 stripes, but your 2 stripes are illegal. I said, the 2 stripes are earned, sir. He said, no, they're illegal. You joined the TA at 14. They were illegal. I'm going to demote you straight away. And I said, what are you going to demote me to? He said, I'm going to demote you to first lieutenant. I said, that really is a demotion, sir, isn't it? First lieutenant? What the fuck is that? First lieutenant. So I walk out there and I've got fucking, I'm a junior fucking cadet and I'm first lieutenant. And I'm going, what the fuck is this? So anyway, it's those boys that are taken off to join the Blackheath. One of them had joined the Green Jackets, 2 of them had joined the Engineers, and one of them had got off and done the Welsh Fusiliers, the Budgie Killers or something else like that. I don't know. So anyway, John Carroll was fucking rang me up one day and he said, oh, fuck's sake. He said, what? He said, I've been called up. I said, what do you mean you've been called up? He said, I've been called to go training. I said, well, that's what you signed up for, you fucking idiot. What are you doing that for? Why are you worried? He said, well, it's okay, I don't want to go. I said, well, if you don't want to go, you don't have to go. It's basic training, you ass. You just turn around and you go, you don't have to go. I don't want to go. That's it. Why didn't I join the same regiment as you? I said, I don't care whether you join the same regiment as me. We're still in the same fucking army. Just get on with it, you mutt. So anyway, he turns around and it's the night before he's leaving. He goes, can we go out and have a few beers? I went, of course we are going to have a few beers. We turn round and we're out in New Cross and we're doing some kind of fucking great fun and doing all kinds of shite. And we're having good fucking night. Played pool. Actually, the first time I'd actually done 8-ball fucking, first time at the table, 8 balls down, bang, walked away. I was invincible. I was absolutely fucking amazing in those days. Turn around anyway, we're walking down the road and this is in New Cross, from New Cross to Deptford High Street. We're walking down there and these boys are fucking, and John is fucking drunk and he's, no, I don't want to go to the war, I don't want to go army, I don't want to do. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, boy, just get it on. Anyway, this guy, as we're walking past him, tried to take a fucking punch. So, me and John end up fucking, him and his mate, fucking bashing him like it's going out of fashion. My face was fucking bruised. This guy was a good fighter, and my face was bruised, and I'm fucking like this. John has got fucking milk cartons and fucking the other fucker over the head. we were in fucking serious wars. So I wake up the next day and my face is like this, and fucking John is he's fucking over his fucking hand is split up and everything, you know. We're a fine pair of fucking mess. And we were just walking down the road. These fuckers tried to fucking kick on us, and we nailed them, but they knew they'd been in a fight. But there you go. It's just the futility of war. But anyway, so we actually, John went off to the Green Jackets. I then got arrested that night. Sorry, I forgot to mention that while we were doing all of this, there was a police car across the road and we both got arrested. So it was a case that myself and John were up in court the next day. When we were up in court the next day, they turned round and they dealt with John straight away. With me, they said, you're remanded, go back down into the cell for 2 hours. And I went, what the fuck, are you going back down into the cell for 2 hours? What the fuck have I done? Just do the same to me, 50 quid and out the fucking door, get rid of me. No, didn't happen. So what happened was that because I was junior leader, right, or officer cadet, I think that's what they called it at the time, I was protected. So protected means that if I was arrested in any way, shape or form, I was technically only to be dealt with by the army. Because what I didn't realise is when I signed on the dotted line, I'd already joined the army. I didn't know, I hadn't done any basic training, I hadn't done anything. I was still waiting for my call up, waiting for my training, and I didn't have anything. So when it came to the court case, the judge said, you have to wait. I went, okay, all right, fine. So I waited. 2 hours later, I go up, and there's a military policeman standing there. And the judge turned around and he said, I'm handing you over to the charge of the military police. I went, well, I haven't done anything. What the fuck? Why don't you just fine me 50 quid and fuck me out the door? Why am I in the military police? They went, you're in the army. I said, I'm not in the army. I've only signed the papers. I haven't done any basic training. They said, you're in the army. I went, okay, right, I accept that. So off I went to Colchester prison. And it was bringing the army into disrepute. That was the charge that I was put up on. So I actually did 6 weeks in Colchester, scrubbing floors with a toothbrush, turning around, and lots of toothbrushes involved, I've got to say, lots of toothbrushes involved at Colchester, doing all of that. And then it was, okay, you can now go to your barracks. So I arrived at the barracks. Rhine Barracks, I remember it well, 9th Airborne Engineers. I remember it very well. And I arrived at the barracks and it was a case that, oh, what's your name? Murphy. Okay, you brought the regiment into disrepute. I said, oh, well, I know, I've just come from Colchester. No, you brought the regiment, you brought our battalion into disrepute, motherfucker, into the guardhouse. More toothbrush duty for another 2 weeks. Right? And bear in mind, I'm a young kid. The last time I was out with John Carroll, I was having a beer. I wasn't going out fucking, I had no basic training, no nothing. Suddenly, I've gone Colchester, barracks, into peeling spuds every fucking day, peeling spuds. So my record had followed me. Oh, you're the 14-year-old, are you? You're the one that joined the army too young. I was like, look, what can I say? You know, it's a case of, you do what you want to do, you see what you want to see. You know, that's what you do. So I turned around and I joined the 9th Airborne Engineers. At the meantime, I got demoted back to corporal, because I brought the regiment into disrepute. I was not allowed to actually carry on with my officer cadetship. I had to carry on through the ranks. So I was reduced back down to corporal, which over my career of 8 years, I went corporal, sergeant, all the way up. I went all the way up and then all the way down on a regular basis. It was regular. It was so fucking regular, it was unbelievable, because I didn't give a shit at that point. I just enjoyed myself. I had great fun. So 9th Airborne Engineers. So there we go, I'm in the 9th Airborne Engineers and I'm still young, I'm still only 17, 18, I'm still learning my trade, I'm still learning what engineering is about, still doing that and cracking on, and I had great fun, And I did that for 8 years. And then one parachute jump, one day, smashed my leg. Smashed my leg, that leg, smashed it. Metal pin running down that, kalas. And in those days in the army, it was a case of, you're fucked, we don't need you. So that was what it was, you know, and there's nothing that we can say about that. The end result of that was I needed a year's worth of rehabilitation on my leg just to get it working again, just so I wouldn't be limping for the rest of my life. Still got a metal pin in this leg now where I actually turn around and I can set a light to any X-ray machine in the world because it frazzles it, and then I have strip searches. So I've been anally investigated in many a country, trust me, and not through my own choice, all right? Oh, shit, wrong way round. That's the end of that one. That wasn't clever. Do it again. So, there we go, 8 years, break my leg. I go home, and I'm thinking, right, well, busted leg, no good anymore, what the fuck can I do? And then I got a phone call. John Murphy, yeah, Airborne Engineers, yes. We only gave you a white card. I said, what do you mean you only gave me a white card? They said, we only gave you a white card. I said, what does a white card mean? They said, a white card means you've got to get your ass over to the TA, Territorial Army, the part-time soldiers, and you've got to start training. I went, okay. And they went, we will pay you a salary. And I went, even better. What about transport? Fuck you, no transport, make your own way. I went, okay, all right. So I actually turned around and went then to the TA. And believe it or not, and that was, what? It was 1990, I think, 1990, 1991, 1991, it was, yeah, it was around, yeah, it was 91, yeah, it was 91, 91. And I was teaching people about IEDs, about how to look at IEDs, like that, this. Someone could say, oh, have some of this, and this could be a bomb. This is how small. Well, we were talking about cassette tapes at the time, we don't have a cassette tape, but something as small as this could actually blow your leg off, you know. Teaching, you know, if you bear in mind that your average British squad, he supports Leeds United or Manchester United or whatever, he supports Arsenal or whatever, and some kid kicks him a ball and he goes to kick it back, and that's when he loses a leg. That's the tricks they used to play. So, you know, it's things like that that you actually turn around and teach against. I was only teaching Territorial Army at the time, but the Territorial Army has become a much bigger part of the British Army now these days. So there we go. So it was the case I did that for a few years. Then off I went to Kazakhstan and was working in the oil and gas industry, and I was looking after the properties there and making sure that the main assets were maintained and done all of that. So I did that until 2010. So this is part one. There you go. You've got up until 2010. Now I've got a lot more to tell you. So end of part one. Nice to meet you.